Welcome to Rock the Crown.
Hey, Crown Nation. How y'all doing today? Look, we are here to talk about a subject that all of us really love. We all have a little piece when it comes to fashion. So we want to talk about fashion as African Americans from an Islamic perspective, Islamic fashion. And so with me, before we get into that, I'm Nefertari, and I've got my queens with me, of course, Nafisa and Naima. Welcome.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, everyone.
Hey. Look, and we're excited too because what you guys don't know, some of you, is that we actually have a fashion show coming up this weekend. Yes, and so Naima, what's the theme again?
So the Sealed Nectar Fashion Show is coming up, 37th annual, www.sealednectarfashionshow.com. The theme is the Garden of Bliss. Dressed up, hat down. Ooh, I can't wait.
Dressed up, hat down. Y'all know, look, we ain't got no hat. You make your own. Let me show y'all. This is a scarf. So I create my own hat for it. Put it around here. This was my look for today.
And you rocking that, queen.
Make a hat.
Yes, you rocking that, queen.
Yes, thank you. And that's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about the impact that we've had as Muslim women, as African American Muslim women, and as African American Muslim designers here in America. Okay, because all of that, we have had a huge impact where we're actually inspiring other people, other designers all over the world to do what it is that we do. You know, there used to be a time where being able to find modest fashions was very difficult to do, which was the main reason why I got into fashion. And now people are starting to join the bandwagon, so to speak, even, all the heavy designers, and seeing that this is definitely something that we need. So it's a lot easier these days to be able to find fashion everywhere you look. So as African Americans, we have definitely made significant contributions into the fashion world. Definitely leaving a lasting impact on global fashion trends. And some of the things that we've done are, just pretty much having a modest movement. And we'll kind of get into that. All of us know, hijabi fashion. A lot of times when you hear about different head wraps, a lot of people call it hijab fashion. So hijabi fashion. Just diversity. When we think about it, we actually look at the three of us right now. Okay. Look at our different looks. We all Black, we all Muslim, but you can have your own flavor, your own sense of style. And we mix it up depending on how you feel when you wake up in the morning. So all of that. So just the entrepreneurship and the fashion brands, as we said, we're going to have a show this coming weekend. And we're going to be able to see a lot of our Muslim women designers who are going to be, their designs are going to be gracing the runway. And we're definitely excited to be able to see that. And then just from a social and cultural aspect, it's something when you see like a Muslim woman walk down the street.
Girl, talk about it. Okay. Look,
and brothers just want to
respect.
Yes.
So it's so beautiful.
Yes.
And the beautiful thing about it is that sometimes I think I'm not from Atlanta, even though I was in Atlanta since '93, right? Mm-hmm. But a lot of times, and Atlanta has been like the seat of African American Islamic fashion for so
Yes.
long. Like Naima said, this is the 37th year of the fashion show in Atlanta. But being in Atlanta, you kind of take for granted all the fashion that's going on. You kind of take for granted when you come to the masjid that you're gonna see Muslim women dressed in all different kind of colors, all different types of fashion types, you know, from Eastern types to Middle Eastern types to African types to African American types. You kind of take that for granted being in Atlanta, but that's one thing that really drew me to be able to practice Islam, you know, be able to come, because I come from a city that didn't necessarily embrace that in terms of being Muslim. So when I saw Muslim women, I'm like, yeah, I can't be about that life. I mean, I'm about the belief, but I can't be about that life, right? But when I came to Atlanta and I saw the diversity in fashion and the diversity which people were coming with, and they still had that African American flair to it. They weren't trying to be like Middle Eastern Muslim women. They weren't trying to be like African, you know, Islam Muslim women. They were putting their own flair on it, which we always do. So I was like, okay, I can do this. I can live this. I can live this life. Yeah, so it does matter. And it is a form of, you know, dawah for the religion, for the Islamic life, and saying, hey, you can be colorful, you can set trends, you can be at the edge of fashion, and it doesn't have to look like everybody else's. You can embrace your own culture as a African American Muslim woman, you know?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I really love about it.
Yeah, so, and you know, that always poses the question. I'm sorry, Naima, just real quick. That always poses the question for people to ask us, where are you from?
Mm-hmm.
Because they can't quite put their finger on it. It's like, I know you're Muslim, I know you dress, but you don't quite look like this, you don't quite look like that. And that kind of goes back to just we as a people, how we do have our own look. We do have our own, you know, when we try to figure out like our own name of where it is. We've lost so much when we think about the history, you know, we ain't gonna get all into that today, but when we think about all of that, you know, and so it's definitely important. And I just want to say this one last thing right now was with everything Nafisa said. I was just like, yeah, which is so important for our youth. You know, when we think about young girls and, you know, teen girls and them trying to fit in or feel a certain way, or it's like how you can actually be modest, you know, represent your religion in a way that you're supposed to and be covered and serving Allah, but then still be fashionable at the same time while doing it.
Right.
And it's a lot of young designers that's designing a lot of stuff for young people. They're designing what they like, you know? So
go ahead, Naima.
I'm sorry, Naima.
Okay, I was gonna say I like to call it the Afro chic. Like every single thing that's out there in fashion, we Afro chic it, right? And so we also use the term is we Muslimize it, meaning that if it's not modest, we will Muslimize it. But Nev, I want to go back to something that you talked about in the beginning, where you're saying like all of these designers are actually getting on the bandwagon. Well, yeah, that's because it is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And where there is money, everybody wants to get on the bandwagon. So remembering that modest fashion, again, is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So yeah, everybody wants to be a part of it. So when you start thinking about all of the modest clothes that came not only from the 70s, 60s, 70s, but as far back as the 1800s. And then, of course, the first African-American designer, if I'm not mistaken, she did some designs in 1870 something. She was the first African-American designer, and her fashions became the trend for white women. And so when you start looking at those clothing, the white women were like, oh, I love that. So they then took her fashions, put them in the boutiques. And once again, we have always been leading the industry, right? So when you think about high waist pants, that's specifically because we have small waists but big bottoms. High waist pants aren't for people with flat bottoms.
Right.
because it looks straight, right? So all of these fashions again cater to our body type. Dusters, they came from the African American community. Why? Because we needed to cover the backside up, right? Just thinking about all these different trends and things. The bell bottom pants. It's because our legs are wide at the top, and they needed to be. You know what I'm saying? So so it wouldn't look so much like the pear shape, right? That of
Mm-hmm.
course we'll talk about some of those things a little bit later. But yes, all of the fashion that you see today is just a replication of what we've been doing for centuries.
This is true. And Naima, the designer that you were speaking of, her name is Ann Lowe. If anybody wants to go and look at that, maybe you can put her name up. It's Ane for Ann, Lowe, Ann Lowe.
That's
Yeah,
right, too.
that's a big deal. Like, and even just thinking about that when we want to talk about African Americans, all of us know just about everything that we deal with in life today, everything that just about that you need, we invented it.
That part.
We did. I was what you
Pretty
need.
much.
The washing machine, the light, anything just about that we need. So it's not a surprise that we have an African American woman who was a designer, where people benefited from her artistry, pretty much, her creativity, designing, and it being an impact on the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just
and probably even more than that we don't even know their names, because when you think about it, I mean, we were the ones that were enslaved, and even after that, we still were the ones who were the laborers who were making the clothes for for the women, tailoring the clothes for the women, coming up with creative adjustments for the women. So they weren't necessarily doing it themselves. So I mean, it makes perfect sense that we've been at the creative forefront of a lot of this. So that totally makes sense in that sense.
I believe that.
So
when it continue to go ahead, Knife. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead and finish your statement.
No, I was just going to say, and continue to be innovators, because a lot of it came out of necessity of us being locked out of participating in a lot of fashions because of economics. We couldn't necessarily afford, all the fashions that was at the, the stores and stuff like that. So we improvised,
Yes,
right? And we just got creative on our own, not just to make adjustments to our body types, but just make adjustments to what we like, and the fact that we weren't, from an economic standpoint, a lot of times we couldn't just go and buy, the fashion items and the high fashion items, which were more exclusive back in the day than they are now. Fashion is much more readily available now because of the whole ready to wear and stuff like that. But back in the day, fashion was kind of like an exclusive type thing.
Well, as I hear you talk about not being able to afford certain things, we're actually even on the other side of that now. When you think about designing, like we can go and buy everything now, just about, we talk about spending money in all kind of different places. But as a designer, when you think about the costs for, we talk about these big time companies being able to do and put out, sometimes it's easier for them because they're already positioned for one. And seeing, like Naima said, that this is a money maker, multi-billion-dollar money maker. And a lot of times our designers, that like what we want to talk about today and the ones that we'll see this weekend coming, they don't have those resources or the funds to be able to produce on the level that, we really need to, so that we can push, and so that we're the ones that's putting our garments out there, So we have to like come together and be able to figure out how we can come together and make that happen, so that we're the producers of our own clothing,
Yeah, it sounds like it needs to be a manufacturing consortium.
Yes.
All the people need to come together. Remember, we come up together. We don't come up individually. So
this is right. And so that's dealing with so now we're thinking about designing just the different techniques and the fabrics, like we talked about, combining the different elements and all of that. These are the things that our African American designers are doing. So, we talk about mixing prints, we can put those different textures with, the bright colors or the patterns and the prints. And this is one of the things that really kind of make us, more known as far as something being recognizable as you can point that out and say, oh, even though we're all, we all have like different styles and all of that. So what do you guys think about, us and our fashion as far as the experiences that you have with Muslim designers?
Well, Nev, I have a story. Remember when we went to Miami and we were in this bougie, prestigious part of Miami where all the nice clothes are? We're walking through the mall, you and I was like, ain't that your outfit from the fashion show? Literally, I know they sent somebody to the fashion show because 4 of her outfits that were in the fashion show were literally recreated and on models. And when I say models, I mean mannequins in the mall. And I was like, they literally are stealing stuff from the Sealed Nectar fashion show celebration, taking those patterns, replicating them, and of course, Liz Claiborne, all these other folks, blah, blah, blah names, are replicating, as I said earlier, our design. And they have to replicate them in order to fit their style of people. Because their body types are not the same as our body types. And so how we have to have it look has to be a specific way, and how they have to have it look really has to be a less voluptuous type look, if I could say that. Because that's what it is, the apple bottom, right?
Oh yeah.
And that kind of gets us into the different body types. We kind of been alluding to it too, but there's been probably over the last 5 or 10 years high fashion designers as well as Islamic designers just in the fashion world altogether have really starting to embrace different body types in terms of fashion, in terms of fashion shows. It used to be you had to have specialty stores. If you were over a size 12 or 14, you had to go to a special store. Now they have incorporated those sizes into regular stores, and not only that, but to fashion as well. Fashion as well. Not just I can go get something with an elastic waist, but no, you can actually get some nice fashionable clothes that are for larger size women. So it's really something that's been great, because if you are a woman that's on the larger side, now you can be fashionable. You can go to the regular department store like everyone else and be able to get clothes that actually fit you, that are fashionable, that you feel like you're pretty in too. So all that is great. I think a great thing that has come about in the last few years that people have started to embrace. But I do want to, just as a side note, say that even though we want to be proud of our bodies, we also want to make sure too that we are always working our way towards being healthy. So working our way towards always being healthy. And even if you are on the larger side, you still want to make sure that you're always trying to make sure that you improve your health and have better health, because we all know that being obese is not healthy. So, I just want to have that side note, because I think sometimes in the fashion world, and even now with the music and fashion, they're trying to push, as obesity being cool, you know what I mean? And it's not healthy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's great that we have all these body types of fashion now, that I think that's a great thing.
Right. And so I do want to also remind people that we did do an episode earlier this season on Black women and obesity. And so I encourage everyone to go back and watch that episode again to echo what Nafisa is speaking about. It is good that we have these body types, but understanding that there are some levels of where we are unhealthy when it comes to body types, and being proud of your body is one thing, but understanding you are healthy is another. And so that's something else I wanted to talk about. But then I also kind of want to digress. I think, Nev, you were talking about designers, right? So I'm sorry, I went back to designers and basically my experience designers course, I started working with the Sealed Nectar Fashion Show in 2010. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, me being not only be the fashion show coordinator and working with so many designers has really been a privilege. But when I was a child, of course, my mother was a seamstress. She made basically all my clothes. And at the time, I was like, "Do I do that? You make everything? Can I get something from the store?" Like, we couldn't, she wasn't like trying to go into the store, like actually buy me clothes, right? And I
Mhm.
remember one eighth grade dance. Girl, my mama made this dress. It had ruffles everywhere, girl. And it was so itchy. And then she had made the earrings, which, girl, it was just had a neckerchief with it. Just when I look at the picture, I'm like, what was I thinking? I don't know. But that experience of like even working with my mother when it comes to like fashion and things like that, and then actually going into our community with working with Shakuro, Queen's Creation, and Sorry Designs, um, uh, beautiful Jamila. I mean, it's so many different people that
Mhm.
we've literally had over, if I'm not mistaken, 35 different types of designers that have actually been in the show for the 37 years that we have been a part of it. And it may not sound like a lot, but the breadth in which they have created fashions. Butterfly has gone all the way to Italy and had her fashions on the actual runway in Italy. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
What's Sister Sumaya Rashid? She has taken the mantle
Lingerie.
basically and began to not only do lingerie for women, but she also
Mhm.
has her own line. And then she has taken the time to actually begin to tell the story of the African American designers that goes
Mhm.
way back to the 50s and 60s when our community first was in the Nation of Islam and how some of those fashions came about. And so Adorn is a beautiful, beautiful representation of exactly where our history comes from. And then
Mhm.
again, all of these different segments of the United States. But even though in the 1980s, when Amira Wazir started the Sealed Nectar, or actually Celebration, she started Celebration Fashion Show, and then it branched off. So now in the United States, there's so many different women in our community that are still holding the legacy up in their community. And
Mhm.
so it's also important to know that when we see all of these fashion shows around the community, it's not about competition. It is
Mhm.
about continuing the legacy throughout our various communities. And we really have to, as an organization and as a community, come together more on our
Mhm.
different fashion shows, be able to highlight our different styles, because as Nafisa was saying earlier, everybody has a razzmatazz, right? We all have our own fashion, our own style, and things like that. And that also goes with the region. So we can all be in the African American community under the leadership of Imam W.D. Muhammad, but then New York fashion is totally different than Atlanta fashion, right? And Atlanta
Mhm.
fashion is totally different than California fashion. And
Yeah, LA.
California fashion is totally different than Chicago fashion. So everybody still has their own ebb and flow. And it's just so beautiful that, again, all across the nation, we have these, as we would like to say, beautiful gardens where all these beautiful butterflies and flowers of women show up in all these beautiful garments. And it is, again, a testament to our legacy as a entire community, not just one community and one fashion show.
And
Mhm.
Naima made me think about, how we'll go and get a shirt from here and some pants from there and the earrings from over there and the scarf from there. You can buy all your different things from all these different designers. And then your one garment, it could be this is a Madame Butterfly or this is Shakuru or this is Queen's Creations, where we can really
Mhm.
Yes,
like support all the designers and imagine how much that's gonna help them when we talk about supporting our own first,
yes,
circulating the in our own community first, versus going other places, because we have some beautiful things and unique pieces that, you're not going to find just anywhere else,
Mhm.
which
Uh-oh. Let's count. I'm sorry. Before you go on, I'm sorry. I got to say this. Stop giving Timu, Rosewee, and all these cheap places your money when it comes to fashion. Stop doing that. $10 doesn't make it fashionable. I'm sorry. It doesn't. We
no, I'm
need
like,
to be doing quality clothing that we
Mhm.
can again purchase from our designers. I once heard some sisters like, "Oh, I can't wait to get this Gucci." I'm like, "Gucci? I got Queen's Creation. I don't know what you're talking about. So I don't need to wait for Gucci. You know what I'm saying? I got Shakuru in my closet. I got Madame Butterfly. What I need Gucci for, right? So it's kind of like, that's all right. I'm going to pass on that.
That's just kind of like when it goes back to, you have some people, even when it comes to whether it's toothpaste or the towels that you use, or, the blankets that you have, it's like really trying to live intentionally with whatever it is that you're purchasing, that because we have these things available by us pretty much, and so being able to do that first. I don't know where you guys want to go from here. Do you want to talk on designers more? You want to kind of go into the wardrobe, thinking about styling, try to, help people get ready for the show coming up, and actually Naima, expound a little bit more on the theme, because not only are the people here in Atlanta getting ready for the show, we have people who come from all over who will come in town, inshallah, to participate in the fashion show. So tell them,
Yeah,
like, what should they be doing to prepare themselves to get ready?
yeah, so the theme is the garden in bliss. And so basically, again, it's thinking about how beautiful we are, each as our own individual flower. We're flowers, like we're women, we're flowers. And it goes back to, again, the theme, sealed nectar. We got some nectar that needs to be sealed, right? It's so beautiful. We got to contain it. But the reason that we chose the theme dressed up and hat down, because we have always been high society women. Black women have always been high society, and it's always been about the modest dress, looking elegant. Even if you're sitting at home, we've gotten so used to, I'm only going to get dressed up if I go out. No, queen, you need to be looking good at home, because again, what you do at home is a reflection of not only what your children see, but what your husband sees. And remembering that, you shouldn't only think about dressing up when you go out, because the home is still a beautiful place to actually walk around and look beautiful, and you can uncover, and so the beauty is even more apparent and evident in our homes. And so, but why not, as we come into the fashion show up in these beautiful dresses and gowns and flowy, and put a hat on and rock with that. Put on some gloves. Bring that umbrella, sister. Like, I just can't wait, because it's going to be so exciting to see everybody like dressed up again. And hopefully, hopefully people will follow the theme, and it's just, you feel so elegant when you're dressed up like that. So I'm excited.
Now, when you say hopefully they will follow the theme, be clear about what the theme is.
The theme is dressed up, hat down. So
whatever
dressing
you dress up in.
Yes.
So is this in garment? Is this a certain time era? Or is this just whatever the closet to?
Well, I definitely love to think about starting in the Victorian age, all the way through the 20s, and even like looking traditionally with the summer dresses that we have right now, because all of it is timeless. Because fashion is timeless, and if you could get something that is a summer dress from the 20s, right, from 2023, and put on a older hat, and it will look so timeless. Like, you were just rocking that. Put on some gloves, and then put on a nice corset type belt, and it will look as if it was something from a long time ago. And it's all really, again, about
stop right there. Yeah, just stop right there. You see how she just put that together, y'all? I know you don't have no pictures now, But just imagine this. So she said, get your 2023 dress, get your belt that's built a little bit like a corset. You know, you can cinch your waist in a little bit if you got that body type, because we can't wear everything. I know we didn't get into body types.
Right.
And then get your hat, get your gloves, and then it kind of creates that, because we know fashion just circulates anyway. All the time keeps coming back around. So some of them pieces, some of y'all got some in your closet already. And
Yes.
so mixing and matching different things that how you can do to create your overall look. So I like how you said that. But y'all get it. Y'all get it. So definitely do that. And layer in any way that you need to. We can, layer lightly because we know it's summertime and it's hot. But you can put on some nice, because there's some pieces that we see sometimes it's like, I can't wear that. And I think that's really what kind of got me started into fashion in the first place. But sometimes you have to look at that as it being an addition to something that you have. And if it's very lightweight, something that you can add to something, you can definitely do that. And I know some people don't like the layering, like, I don't want to be too hot and all of that, but you got to layer smart. Like, you got to think about the type of fabric that it is. You do want to be able to breathe. You got to think about what season it is, what time of year it is. So thinking about all of those kind of things, but definitely layering and then accessorizing. Look at Naima with this necklace on. I don't even know what that is, but it's kind of taking me back a little bit, even with that piece, So we can we are so excited. We just can't wait to see what you come up with. I'm excited to bring some things down the runway, but also.
Woo, girl, I'm excited to see them things come down that runway. Okay.
Yeah, Nafisa, you gonna be here?
Hadn't planned on it.
Haven't planned on it. Okay. Look, we're gonna see if somebody can FaceTime you because we're not doing virtual this year, right?
Right.
It'd be good if we can get a camera set up so that they can see it live. Facebook Live. That's it. We have to Facebook Live.
Right. People have been asking about that. I'm like,
it's gonna have to be behind the scenes during the show.
Yeah.
So we can kind of go through and talk to some designers, and that would be really great, and kind of show some people up and close so that you can so those people who can't make it could still kind of get a feel of what happened. Okay.
Yes, and what's happening. Yes, inshallah. But I want to remind everybody about the Sealed Nectar Fashion Show, 37th annual, coming up on July 2nd. It is last. Eid is actually Wednesday. We're having celebration on Friday, Saturday, and then ending the weekend Sunday with the fashion show. Women only. If you'd like to purchase your tickets, www.sealednectarfashionshow.com. There are still some spots available for those who want to do the sponsorship. And sponsorship items go directly into the VIP bags. Those VIP bags go to the first 20 women who have already purchased their tickets. So they are so excited. We've been doing that for the entire 13 years that we've been doing the fashion show. And let me tell you, those women are like, I need my bag. I need my bag, because the bags are so prime. Oh, they're so juicy. So again, if you want to do the sponsorship, it's still available. And for those who are sponsors, thank you so much for continuing to support us. Because let me tell you, our sponsors have been sponsoring every single year. That is to not only what we're doing, but what they do for the communities. So alhamdulillah.
I know, Neff, one thing I wanted to touch on was when we talk about trends in fashion and, the whole area of modesty really taking off, not just, because I think a lot of times, at least previously, we kind of did fashion shows and it was just our thing, within the Muslim community when we did stuff or when you saw stuff, you wasn't necessarily going out to the broader community or showcasing your designs to the broader community, thinking that they would, are into modesty, for example. But I think more and more the larger community is getting in modesty too. That's what also is driving the industry, as well as social media, right? The whole fashion thing with social media and showing what's going on in Saudi Arabia, Dubai, with the eye being on Dubai and it being the high fashion. thing, and so people see that a lot of professional women in the Middle East are buying a lot of modest fashion now. So that's another reason I think a lot of people have jumped on board, for modest fashion. And now that African American designers are able to showcase their designs, not just within their own city or their own individual community, but they can showcase it and other people will want to buy it, even if they're not Muslim. They will want to buy it. That's driving the industry too. And one thing I noticed this year, right, when I started going to buy swimsuits, right, I mean, there were so many sites that had modest swim. I bought 5 swimsuits, y'all.
I know that's real, girl.
I mean, they're like colorful and different designs.
One of them.
None of them were Islamic designers. I will say that.
That was the point I wanted to make about it.
They were just like regular stores or regular, online shopping places that had, but they had multiple, all kind of selections of different modest fashion wear. So I ended up buying, swimwear. So I ended up buying like 5 different types of, maybe even more than that, to be honest. But
what was the price range?
The price was probably about, well, I ain't paying no more than $50.
Yeah, that's not right.
I don't pay no more than $50. That's
that's not right.
Yeah, I keep it around there. But even for $50, they were really nice. And a lot of them had just 1 or 2 pieces, because before, sometimes you have to put together like 3 or 4 different pieces just to make sure you was modest and all of that. And then you got all this stuff on. But no.
And you're going to drown because you're so weighted up.
Well, yeah. Well,
I'm just saying, it was too much.
Well, yeah, it does get wearing, right? I never put on like 4 pieces, but a lot of times that's just what you had to do, because you want something to cover your legs, and then you wanted to have a nice top part, but then you wanted something to cover, your little boo-boo back there, right? You want everybody to see that. So you want to cover that up. So, by the time you get finished covering everything you want to cover it up, you done got on 4 different pieces. So I think they're getting very good at doing some nice swimsuits, fashionable swimsuits, colorful swimsuits, and being able to incorporate it into less pieces. You might most of my stuff was just like 2 pieces, and it was just modest. So that's something that people might not have thought about, but that's just something I noticed when I went to shop this year versus me buying my swimsuits last year. There were way more choices from all types of different stores in terms of modest fashion.
And that just kind of goes what we mentioned in the beginning.
I got to plug a Muslim designer. We definitely want to make sure that we're plugging Orchid Allure, Anissa Muhammad from Washington, D.C., who is a African-American swimsuit designer. So Orchid Allure is her website. You can definitely go there. She has some beautiful different kinds of designs. And her swimwear is not only for the person who swims, but also for the person who wants to look cute on either the beach, poolside. Even if you don't swim and you just want to wear a swimsuit, she has different types of styles. So Orchid Allure is something that you can look up. And there is another Muslim designer. Her starts with the S, but she specifically has it's kind of on the higher price tag. It's like a little bit over $100 to like $180. But she's in the Muslim world, but hers is kind of like, again, a higher price tag in terms of like that. So if you wanted to just purchase from Muslims, there are some designers that are out there as well. And then last but not least, there's also a designer who specializes in triathlete type clothing for Muslim women who are triathletes. So she specifically has now designed triathlete clothing for Muslim women who are triathletes. And I forgot the name of her business.
Yeah, I forgot her name too. We're ordering our kit from her this time, right? She the
Yeah,
one
I
that
think
designed our kit. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
we're ordering our kit from her. But again, these are people you want to look up and look out. So if you go to Khadijah Diggs' website, I mean her Facebook page, you can see that Muslim designer who again designs Muslim triathlete clothing. Because if you're a Muslim triathlete, it's very, very difficult to try to find some clothing that fits all of the body parts and will still do what you need to do as a triathlete in order to make the transitions. But she's something else you should look into. Sorry
And
about that.
so that's running, biking, and swimming.
Yes,
So, mhm.
I'm doing that.
All right, ladies, we ready to wrap it up?
Okay, well let's wrap it up then.
I just wanted to make sure y'all didn't have something else you want to plug in.
Did you want to mention anything about? I think we talked about it a little bit when you talked about being able to style your wardrobe. I think you talked about different styling techniques a little bit. Did you want to say anything more about that? About
Um,
pulling outfits together?
yeah, just a lot of times we don't realize that we have things in our home, in our pot, in our closets, in our drawers that we have. And so, sometimes you might just need a little stylist. Y'all can call me for that too. You need a stylist to be able to come and look at what you have to rearrange it. And then what else comes with that is organization of your closet so that you know where your items are. You can color code things. Having your shirts and your short shirts, your long shirts, your pants, your suits, your dresses, and knowing what parts that you can put with what to be able to mix and match it to create different looks.
Yes.
Sometimes you can have 4 or 5 pieces where you can create 4 or 5 different looks, if not more, with those pieces, and they look totally different types of outfits. And we think about those kind of things sometimes too when it comes to traveling. When you want to travel and you want to travel light. Speaking of, you need to get a butterfly wrap too. So, or 2 or 3.
That part.
Yeah, get that butterfly wrap. A butterfly wrap is definitely an accessory piece that you can wear several different ways. But yeah, so just getting different pieces that you can wear. And sometimes people look at it and be like, oh, I never thought about wearing that way.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that. Now see, I'm gonna go ahead and tell it. My mama tell me all the time. She said, "You ain't gotta let everybody know what's going on." But listen, y'all. Now you probably already know what I'm getting ready to say. Y'all see me doing this right here.
Okay.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all a secret. So I told y'all about my little hat piece, right? My little scarf with my hat. But what I didn't tell y'all was what I have on as my scarf is actually a shirt.
Shirt. I knew it, girl. When you did that hat thing, I was like, that's the arm.
Yeah. So let me tell you. So then let's just kind of go back to, I'm getting ready to start showing y'all all kind of stuff of what you can do with what you got at home, how you can, and you don't have to wear it for what it's meant to be worn for. You can do whatever you want to do with it, but you create different looks out of it. So that'll be coming soon. So just reach out to me. Of course, I am here. Give you some pointers on that. And we maybe I'll have another show where we can dig a little bit deeper on what's in your closet. And I know we kind of done a little bit of that in the past, but what's in your closet, how you can wear what you wear, and just mixing and matching colors, not being scared. You can put some of the polka dots that Nafisa got on right now and mix it with some of that print that Naima got on,
That's right.
And then you probably can't tell today, but I got on stripes. So I got on stripes. She got on polka dots, and Naima got on some, I don't know what she got on, but she got on black and white, big print, something. But
right.
So don't be afraid to mix up your prints. Don't be afraid to mix up your colors. Like there is no wrong way, And it's funny as I say that, I think about the Somalians. Like they definitely are not scared of mixing and matching different things, and that's like part of our culture.
Yeah.
We have a different style in how we do it, but you definitely can definitely mix it up. So, all right, y'all. So just
before we leave, you got to tell everybody where they can get a butterfly wrap, especially all of the fly new colors.
Thank you for reminding me of such. So you can get your butterfly wrap at thebutterflywrap.com. It's real simple, thebutterflywrap.com. And if you don't remember that, just go to Queen's Creations Fashions, queenscreationsfashions.com, and you can get your butterfly wrap. We have several different colors. I think on the site right now, we're showing like 6 or 7 different colors. So you can get your coral crimson, which looks like red, but it's more of a coral color, but it's deep. You can get your gold, yellow orange color, black. Of course, everybody loves to have black, and then you can wear that. You got blues, you got greens, you got all kind of different colors, but you can wear that butterfly wrap so many different ways. I kind of joked around about my scarf and my headpiece, but your butterfly wrap can be worn as a shirt. It can be worn as a headpiece in several different ways. You can wear it as a cardigan. We think about our Muslim business women who we get those suits, even though now the modest fashion is coming around, but a lot of times, we have the little crop jacket with the pants, and you're looking for something like Nafisa mentioned earlier with the swimsuits, something to cover the butt. The butterfly wrap is there to help serve that purpose. So you want to wear that cardigan look, you can belt it, put that on, and you'll be nice and flowy. So y'all know y'all need to get it. So I appreciate the people who are already out there making purchases. But definitely, reach out to me. You can also go to the website if you have any questions or whatever to contact me as well. So that's queenscreationsfashions.com. Or you can also reach me on my Instagram page, which is @officialqueenscreations.
Excellent day. Alhamdulillah. And finally, once again, we are reiterating that you can purchase tickets, women only, here in Atlanta for July 2nd to the Sealed Nectar Fashion Show. It will be at the Legacy Center in East Point, Georgia. We want to give a shout out to the East Point Convention Center Bureau because they are partners the next 3 years. So again, shout out to the East Point Visitors Convention Bureau. It's in the lovely city of East Point, and as their mission and their motto is where the world meets. So Sealed Nectar Fashion Show at the Legacy Center this year and the next coming year. So www.sealednectarfashionshow.com. Go and purchase your tickets. We can't wait to see you. And as we get ready to close all the way out, don't forget to like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Instagram.
All right.
All right. So Crown Nation, we will see you until next time.
Peace and blessings.
Assalamu alaikum. Have a great week.
Fashion out.